Here is the full historical account of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. on April 4, 1968, one of the most seismic events in American history. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Baptist minister and social activist who was a leading figure in the American civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. He fought for racial equality through peaceful, nonviolent action, inspired by the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. His famous, "I Have a Dream" speech, delivered in 1963 in Washington, D.C., became a symbol of hope in the fight against racial discrimination. Background to the assassination. In early April 1968, King was in Memphis, Tennessee, to support a strike by black sanitation workers demanding fair treatment and wages. These workers were treated unequally and faced systemic discrimination in the workplace. King was staying at the Lorraine Motel, a place he often visited when he was in Memphis. Despite the increasing threat to his life, he remained on the front lines of the struggle. Day of the assassination, April 4, 1968. At 6:01 p.m. local time, while standing on the balcony of room 306 of the Lorraine Motel, Martin Luther King Jr. was shot by a sniper. The bullet struck his jaw and went through his neck. He was rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital, but was pronounced dead an hour later, at 7:05 p.m. The perpetrator, James Earl Ray. Authorities immediately launched a massive manhunt. After 2 months on the run, James Earl Ray, a recently escaped convict, was captured at London's Heathrow Airport. He was later extradited to the United States and pleaded guilty to King's murder to avoid the death penalty, although he later recanted his confession and claimed he was framed. Ray was sentenced to 99 years in prison, but until his death in 1998, he maintained that he was not the main perpetrator and that there was a larger conspiracy behind the killing. Many conspiracy theories have emerged, including allegations of government or anti-civil rights groups being involved. Impact and riots. King's assassination shocked the American nation. Within a short time, more than 100 cities across the U.S. were engulfed in massive riots. Stores were looted, buildings were burned, and hundreds were injured. It was one of the most devastating waves of unrest in U.S. history. But King's death also accelerated change. Congress quickly passed the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which banned discrimination in housing, a cause King had championed before his death. Legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. is remembered as one of the most influential figures in the history of the struggle for human rights. His birthday, January 15, has been celebrated as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a national holiday in the United States since 1986. He has become a symbol of peaceful resistance, moral fortitude, and hope for a more just world.